All right. Anyways, so I did another video on magic, and I haven't posted it yet, but I think I'm going to. Though it's because so yesterday I posted an hour-long video talking about magic, and as soon as I recorded that, then I turned the camera back on and did another hour. But I was mentally exhausted already. There was points that I wasn't able to cover though, and so that's why I did the second one. One of the main points was that I wanted to clarify that I don't encourage people to dabble in magic of any kind, and I wanted to make sure to clarify that. So anyways, and I was kind of mentally exhausted from the first hour-long video. And so there's some brain farts in the second video, but I think I'm going to post it anyways. And the only reason I would be reluctant to post the second video is because I don't want to waste the viewers' time. And I didn't really articulate myself as well in the second video as I did in the first one. I still think though that there's a lot of stuff in there that I want to make sure that I cover. Mostly kind of to, I guess in a way, protect myself and like make sure that I'm not causing any harm with my videos. And one of the points being is to, clarify, my video on when I talk about magic the intent is not to encourage people to involve themselves in magic of any kind. And it keeps bringing me back to kind of like this wall of the word. Like really, I mean, magic is a word, right? So, and I think kind of in a sense, it seems that the word magic is subjective to interpretation as well. Which brings me to, my disclaimer that, do your own research, come to your own conclusions. Any and everything I say could be wrong. And that it's just for entertainment purposes. When, like me talking about magic is just kind of for entertainment purposes So, yeah. Anyways, and so I'm going to go ahead and upload that second video, but just kind of to let you know, I kind of got stuck in a loop for maybe 6-7 minutes and trying to sort my thoughts in real time during the video. And so there's a section where I start saying I'm a lot because I'm like trying to figure out what was I saying? What am I fucking saying? What really got me was I forgot there's a term that was on the tip of my tongue, but I couldn't fucking get it, dude. And the term is radical. And so now that I've sorted that out, I'd like to, just go back into this a little more. What it is the truth. Okay. So I'm talking about how, practitioners of the dark arts, they don't like the truth. They don't like reality. They don't like the truth. And the black arts is all based in lies and deception and illusion and malice and cowardice and stuff like this. So the truth is their biggest adversary. And so if you're a person who's trying to be truthful and is on the path of truth and shit like this, it doesn't matter whether you believe this shit's real or not. The fact of the matter is, there's people that they abhor truth, like that. The only way that they can function in life is like through self-deceit, which takes many different forms, but generally it's just self-deceit, like denial. People who are in denial about stuff, they cling to that denial. Like that's how they function, is by being in denial about truths and realities and stuff. And even though they may not be conscious practitioners of the black arts and stuff, they're dependent on the lie. They're dependent on the lies. But the thing is we all are. When a person starts peeling the layers of their own self, self-deceit is a part of human nature. It's a part of the human condition. But there are just extreme cases of like individuals who are like in extreme denial, and that doesn't mean that they're practitioners of the black arts per se. But it is, it's it's a subconscious kind of state. And like people who are in suffering extreme denial and shit like this, they are dangerous people. Cowards are more dangerous than anyone else. Cowards are like, cowards are very dangerous. Jordan Peterson pointed that out, and I think Jordan Peterson was right in pointing this out, where compare a courageous person to a cowardice person. Which one is more dangerous? A person who is strong and courageous, or a person who is weak and cowardly? Weak, cowardly people are far more dangerous. And the black arts is totally based on cowardice and shit like this, right? Cowardice is strength to the black arts practitioner. Killing babies is courageous, or whatever. Anyways, so, and then because truth is the big adversary to, the practitioner of the dark arts and shit, so I wanted to get into the idea of truth. So like black arts practitioners use truth to deceive people. It's called like forked tongue. A forked tongue speaks the truth with the lying tongue. They use the truth to enhance the lie. I'm sure if you really think about it, you can find examples. Well, I mean, like the order out of chaos. They use the truth, right? Or like controlled opposition. Controlled opposition, where they put in front of you a person who is an obvious lying, evil cunt, and then they put before you a person who, by all appearances, is telling the truth. And then they tell you need to choose of these two people. Well, that's forked tongue. That's like speaking the truth with the lying tongue. So dark arts practitioners more advanced ones use the truth. You know, advanced. That's an oxymoron though, because black arts practitioners, the more advanced they are, that really essentially at its core is the stupidest, is the stupidest. Like people try to say, well, Hitler was actually intelligent. Well, you know, the way society portrays Hitler, none of us know Hitler. We don't know the truth of all this, right? So we just have to go off of what we're told about Hitler. And so we're told all this shit about what Hitler is and did and this and that. And then people say, based off of that, they say, well, he was intelligent. Even though he was evil, he's intelligent. See, that's an oxymoron. Evil is stupidity in its purest form. Like, evil is stupid. You know, so that's like a total oxymoron. Like it's a complete contradiction of its own self. Oh, that super evil person was very intelligent. I must give him credit where credit's due. He was very intelligent. That's a complete oxymoron. Like it doesn't, because evil is stupid. You know. But anyways, so since truth is a big part of like this whole thing that I'm going off on, you know, truth, because truth is the big adversary to the black arts practitioner. Well, let's talk about the truth, right? Because, you know, see, one of the problems with the truth is, it's like this. Let's say a friendly acquaintance of mine pulls up in the car right now, right? And he steps out of the car and he's like, hey, what's going on, man? What's going on? You getting ready to go to work, right? And he's talking to me. And he's wearing like the ugliest sweater I've ever seen in my life. And I can't even focus on what he's saying because that sweater is so fucking ugly. It is like the ugliest sweater I've ever seen in my life. Okay. But to him, it's not. You know, to him, it's like, it's a cool sweater. He likes it. It's his favorite sweater. So let's say while he's talking to me and I'm looking at this sweater and I'm like, oh my God. And I can't even listen to this guy because his sweater's so ugly. And I just interrupt him halfway through his, whatever he's saying. And I'm like, dude, that is the ugliest fucking, like, dude, you look like a fucking retard. Why would you wear that sweater? That is the ugliest. And I just start degrading this guy. Like, I just totally ruin his whole day by time. Is that being a truther? Is that being honest? Is that truth? Well, first of all, you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as they say. Just because I think that's an ugly sweater doesn't mean that it is. You know, and if he's a friendly acquaintance of mine, well, what good is it going to do me to tell him my opinion of how that is the ugliest sweater I've ever seen in 50 years of existence? Like, is that really going to do... What is my motive in telling him this? You know? Is that a thoughtful thing to do? Is it really honest? Are my intentions honest in doing so? Is it an intelligent thing to do? Is it necessary to do this? Is it kind to just like ruin my friend's day by just interrupting him by telling him that he looks ugly. He's ugly. You're ugly, dude. Like, why are you so ugly? Or maybe he's like 200 pounds overweight or 150 pounds overweight. And I'm just disgusted with his weight. And so I interrupt him halfway through and tell him, dude, you are a fat motherfucker. Dude, what the fuck? You're a disgusting fucking pig, bro. Why don't you go on a fucking diet? Like, dude, you look like a fat, disgusting pig. Is that being honest? Is that truth? Is that being a truther? Is that what Well, of course it's not. that's ridiculous. I have friends that are fat. I don't even care. They don't disgust me at all. Like, I don't care. Like, I have friends that dress a lot different than I prefer to dress. I don't share with them my personal opinion of how they dress. Like, I honestly don't care. So, you know, brutal honesty is based in that's a form of deceit. To tell somebody how ugly they are or how fat they are, or whatever. That's not being honest. That's malice. That's malicious. So that the path of truth can get complex in that sense. Kind of like pick and choose my battles wisely. If my friend is 150 pounds overweight, and I want to be honest with him, you know, like, what does it matter? I for some reason, I guess it really matters to some people. Well, that's the non-player character who is very concerned about other people's appearance. Why do you look like that? You look terrible. What is wrong with you? Why do you look the way you do? Like, that's non-player character shit. Like, there are way more important things going on than my personal opinion of how overweight someone is, or how fashionable their clothes are. Like, I don't give a fuck. But the non-player character, man, that's all they care about. That is the most important thing in the world. Is how dare you show up here in those unfashionable clothes, in that unfashionable appearance. Like, who cares? The non-player character, that's all they care about. Fashion. Trends, trendy, what's popular, what's fashionable, what's trendy. And so that's to them, that's being a truther and being honest. Is I'm going to tell somebody that they're not dressed fashionable. It's very important for me to tell them that. I'm going to die on the hill of fashion and trends and popularity. That's the non-player character, the NPC. And so, when we're talking about truth and stuff, it gets that complex, like these layers of complexity, the matrix of, like, well, what is truth? What is truth, right? And if I'm talking about magic and how the dark arts practitioner is the adversary of the dark arts practitioner is truth, well, then we have to start getting to asking the question, well, what is truth, right? Especially when dark arts practitioners use the truth to deceive people. They speak the truth with a lying tongue and then claim themselves to be speaking truth, and they're truthers. Well, no, they're not. Again, there are all kinds of examples. Order out of chaos, controlled opposition, all these things. They use truth, speak truth with a lying tongue. So what is truth then? Yeah, see how magic and all this discussion on magic gets into, you start following the breadcrumbs and stuff, and then the next thing you know, it's like, then you're asking, well, what is truth? Is it true that sweater is ugly? I don't know. I mean, the eye of the beholder, man. Maybe lots of people really like that sweater, and I just don't, for some reason in my mind. But I have to speak the truth. I have to speak truth, right? But then, so to even make it more complex, let's say my friend shows up and he's got a booger hanging out of his nose, and he's talking to me, and I'm like, fuck, my friend has a booger hanging out of his nose. And he's like got something really important that he's saying, and the whole time he's got that booger. Well, I mean, me personally, if he's my friend, I'll wait until he's done talking, and then I'll just be like, bro, you got a booger hanging up from your nose, bro. You get that? And that's being a friend. You know, a friend will tell a friend, like, bro, you got a booger hanging out your nose. So tact is part of being honest and truthful is using tact. Maybe my friend is dressed really like, it's like, whoa. I might, wait for a proper time and moment and just say, bro, if you want to get some pussy, bro, I would advise don't wear that sweater. If you're like wanting to hook up with babes and shit, dude, I would suggest don't wear that sweater, man. I'd throw that fucker away. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. But, And then my friend might respond by saying, I don't even give a shit about getting laid. Women are fucking stupid. Look at all these women. They're crazy as fuck. I wear this sweater to repel women. And then I'll laugh and be like, oh, well, that makes sense. Okay, now I get it. Yeah, dude, totally wear that sweater. Like, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, so the truth. What is truth? Why is that person wearing that ugly sweater? Is it because they think it looks cool? Or is it because they're so sick of fucking being surrounded by NPC sheeple idiots that they just want to repel them? So they'll wear that sweater. That way people will stay away from them and be like, whoa. That makes total sense. A lot of times I dress the way I do for that very reason. To kind of like discern who's who. Who is superficial versus who is being genuine. A superficial person will judge a book by its cover. A genuine person will understand that you don't judge a book by its cover. You have to read the book first. Contempt prior to investigation will lead a man into everlasting ignorance. Contempt prior to investigation. That's what judging a book by its cover is contempt prior to investigation. I look at that book, the cover of that book, and decide, oh, that's a shitty book, based off of the cover of the book, without even reading it. And then I start telling everybody, that's a shitty book. That book is shitty. Well, have you read it? No. Contempt prior to investigation. Contempt prior to investigation will lead a man into everlasting ignorance. Don't judge a book by its cover. That's a truth. That's true. That's not the saying, don't judge a book by its cover, is not some conspiracy that the Freemasons and Illuminati has created and spread throughout the world to trick people into believing something that isn't true. That's just a empirical truth in the world that we live in. Don't judge a book by its cover. That's not a conspiracy. You'd be surprised how many people will say, oh, that saying, don't judge a book by its cover, that's just a conspiracy created by the Freemasons and the Illuminati to trick you into believing the lie, when really all you have to do is judge a book by its cover to tell it whether it's a good book or not. If the book is written by a J, it's not a good book. Right. How many times have I heard that on BitChute? I really identify with you so much. Anyways, whatever, I'm done. See you.